It's a trip to the Midwest for the Aztecs this weekend as they face the Northern Illinois Huskies Saturday afternoon in a Mountain West Conference versus MAC clash. Hello and welcome to Aztecs All In, the podcast that goes all in on San Diego State sports. I'm Louis Weiner along with Steve Perez. The Aztecs, of course, coming off that impressive 34-0 shutout of Cal Saturday night. And we'll hear from two of the stars of that game, Jayden Denegal and Dalesean Staley. First, some greetings and salutations to the one and only Steve Perez. Hey, Steve.
Hello, Louis. It would be a big mistake for the Aztecs to look past NIU if they are to take another important step toward bowl eligibility. We'll get into that with Coach Sean Lewis later on.
Steve, the game is Saturday, 12:30 kickoff here on the West Coast, and it is only on ESPN+. That means it's not on cable or over-the-air television. So make plans and make sure that you can tune in to watch the game. The game is being held at Husky Stadium in DeKalb, Illinois. That's about 65 miles west of Chicago. If you wanted to drive there, I just checked, and it's a 29-hour drive from San Diego to DeKalb. And this is a home-and-home. You'll talk more about that in a few minutes. This is the 7th all-time meeting between the two teams. Aztecs are undefeated. They are 6-0. The last game was a 34-28 win at SDCCU Stadium in 2017. Steve, Coach Thomas Hammock has practically a new team this season. He says they lost 130 starts from last season and returned the lowest productivity in the nation. He actually said his offensive line consists of 3 walk-ons and an FBS player. So this is a team with a lot of inexperience. He also compared his team in deciding to, which players to bring in. He compared his team to like going to a junkyard and picking up a bunch of pieces and trying to see how they fit.
Despite the Huskies' 1-2 start, they want to establish a winning tradition there. And toward that dream, they had a big upset last year of Notre Dame, and the winning tradition, despite their current 1-2 record, is to feature a commitment to running the ball and playing defense that makes the opponents remember who they played the day before because of all the hard hits they tried to dole out. And he's got some NFL coaching experience, so he knows the whole mind game. You're going to play that sound bit in a bit about what a great coach he thinks Coach Sean Lewis is, and what a great tradition San Diego State has, and what a great team and great players they are. That's all part of the mind game. So he's very experienced at that as well, because he's a 2-time academic All-American smart guy.
Steve, when I'm looking for interviews with the coach of the opposing team, usually you don't get very specific information. It's pretty basic what the coach is saying, praising the coach and maybe a couple of players. But Coach Hammock, when he was asked about San Diego State, his response was very interesting.
I'm excited about this team. We got another tough opponent this week in San Diego State. Sean Lewis, I've known him for a long time. When he was a player at Wisconsin, I was a GA. We've obviously played against him when he was at Kent State, so know what he brings as a football coach, know what he brings as a competitor, have the utmost respect for him, the way his team plays. San Diego State, they're big, they're physical. They play with great energy, urgency, and tenacity. Offensively, obviously the quarterback runs it all. It's a quarterback-driven system. Sean does a great job of having plays off plays. If he shows something one week, the next week he has a play off what he showed the previous week. So we have to make sure we have great eye discipline from a defensive standpoint. And he does a great job making you defend the whole field. Defensively, those guys play without hesitation. They play violent, they play physical, they play downhill. And then you can really see the culture of their program on special teams. I think whoever is their special teams coordinator, he does a phenomenal job with their special teams, having those guys locked in. They're going to be aggressive in their punt block units. They're going to be aggressive in their field goal block units. They play with just great energy and urgency. And to me, I think the way your special teams play tells a lot about your football team. So we know we have a tremendous challenge this week, but I'm excited about our football team.
You know, one thing I have to say for Coach Hammock, this is his dream, to be coaching his alma mater where he played. He was a GA at Wisconsin, and he said that he wanted to be the head coach at NIU because he knows what his coach at the time, Coach Joe Novak, did for him. He wants to do the same for others, so it's very refreshing to see somebody give back and not be looking for the next opportunity down the road.
Steve, you mentioned that Northern Illinois likes to run the ball. They average 275 yards a game, but just 114 yards passing. They average 161 rushing yards a game. Their primary running back is Siobhan Wright. He averages 71 yards a game, and Telly Johnson Jr. averages 66. The quarterback is Josh Holst. He has a 63.5% completion percentage, but he averages just 109 yards per game. The main guy on the receiving end is Diari Rogers. 16 catches this season for 173 yards, 11 yards per catch, 58 yards per game. So primarily they are going to run the ball, and you got to hear from Coach Lewis this week about what he expects.
How about we start this out with a final tip of the Aztecs all-in sombrero to San Diego State head Aztec fast man Sean Lewis. After the home win, he channels his inner poet, opens with this: "We put the great win to bed, turn the page to a really tough opponent that is battle-tested."
And we talked about it after the game. Hey, you got 24 hours. Like, we're way past 24 hours, right? And if you don't respect that 24-hour rule and you listen to all the nice things that have been said, all the comments, it's like all that stuff, all the pats on the back today while they're on campus, like, you know, all of that starts swarming around you like a bunch of barracudas in the water, right? Like, and you don't want to be in that situation, right? You want to be able to insulate yourself. You want to be able to, again, know that the opinions in the building matter. That's what needs to be most valuable. And the support that we received from the student section, the way that they showed up, the support that we received from the community, the way that they showed up, and again, the sense of pride, right, that everyone feels right now in the city because our football team did a really, really good thing, right? Like, that's all well and good. And that's what our expectations are. And everyone else can feel really, really good about it until we all get back together and have another party on Friday night when Colorado State comes to town. But there's work that we get to do. And in this, you know, family business that we're in, you're only as good as your latest performance, right? And so that one was good, but we got another one coming. And as good as that last one was, we don't handle this one the right way. I was going to forget about the last one pretty quickly, and all they're going to know is the one that we just put down.
And Coach Lou knows Coach Hammock as he was a graduate assistant at Wisconsin during his playing days. They share similar mantras of getting better each week. The homework assignment for the Aztecs from their coach is to get better as well, earn the right to win on the road. San Diego State's defense, stingy at home. Road Warriors, that's the climb, huh? They have yet to win out there this season. Headed into Pullman, Washington with a lot of confidence after humbling the FCS team from Long Island in the home opener, but left the state of Washington with a 36-13 L in the shape of a finger and a thumb on the forehead. Actually, Aztecs' last road win dates back to 2024, October 12th to be exact, when they won a hard-fought 27-24 affair in Laramie against the Wyoming Cowboys. And yes, gonna have to keep bringing that one up until the Aztecs can get off the win one on the road schneid.
I think there's a hard lesson that we already learned, right? Like, from week one, we had a really nice win, and we probably felt ourselves a little bit too much, felt a little bit overconfident, right? And we didn't respect the process of winning. So we've already learned that hard lesson that we can't grow complacent and that we can't, not respect what winning requires each and every single day, right? And that's the process, that's the hard work, that's the focus, that's the toughness that the team showed as well, right? Like, so. And we sat here 2 weeks ago on a Monday talking about, hey, there's going to need to be a really big response because there was a really big letdown. Well, as bad as that event was when we didn't respect all those things and we had that moment up in Wazoo, well, now we're on the other end of the spectrum, right? And that was a really cool event, but they both require huge responses to get back to neutral and do what it takes, right? There's no way to navigate around that, right? So, we got to learn how to handle success. And again, we didn't do that great week 1 to week 2. And so now we have a new opportunity from week 3 to week 4 to do it the right way and go win on the road. And that's what good teams do.
It's because Lewis has seen this movie before. It includes this week's opponent. NIU has already danced with tough partners of their own. They took Maryland into the fourth quarter before succumbing, and last week the scoreboard says they got bulldozed by Mississippi State of the SEC, 38-10, but they trailed that one just 4 at the half. So what do we have at this point, Lewis? We can say the Aztecs had one great night at home, which the coach looks at as ROI, return on investment, in all the hard work leading up to that whooping of Cal last week. For that, you can credit these Aztecs with keeping their heads down, preparing for the Cal game, putting the blinders on, ignoring the point spread. By the same token, they now have to ignore any praise from the media and fickle fans. Because, Lewis, my Perez AI chatbot says this. Take it away, Perez AI chatbot. This Perez AI chatbot. Perez is like cheap tequila. It feels good going down, but if you spend too much time with it, come Monday, you will regret it. But thank you, Perez AI chatbot. But seriously, Hammock's NIU squad may rank low offensively, averaging 12.7 points a game on the season thus far. That's 135th in the FBS. But their run-heavy approach will test the Aztecs' front. Javon Wright has 214 yards, and they run 60% of the time. And the Aztecs' defensive front, as we have mentioned, has allowed just 12 points a game with these 2 shutouts as well. So if the Aztecs' D can stop NIU's running game, you gotta like the visiting team's chances. Aztecs are led on their side by QB Jayden Denegal's 529 passing yards and running back Lucky Sutton's 249 rushing yards. More important, though, no turnovers through the first 3 games. Lewis says, as nice as all the praise and favorable stats are, it doesn't matter now against a swarming D led by the MAC's leading tackler, an LB Quinn Erweiler.
I believe in our team, right? I believe, I was asked that, hey, do you still believe? And absolutely, right? Like, we're a good team that played complete football, that played complementary football, that, for the most part, we did not beat ourselves. There's some things that we still need to clean up. But when our guys are that focused, when they're that intent, when they're that purposeful, and most importantly, they're playing that well-connected together and for one another, again, we got a good team, and I believe in them wholeheartedly, and that showed. And again, it's one good opportunity, right? We haven't given up any points at home. We've defended our home turf, and now that's got to go travel, right? We haven't done that yet. So that's the challenge, that's the response, that's the call, for us to, again, put our head down, go back to work, because that's who we are.
Against Cal, Lewis, Aztecs D generated 3 takeaways. NIU's offense statistically struggles getting first down. They are 135th in the FBS. Is that right? So, if the Aztecs can shut down NIU's run game, look for the Aztecs D to try to capitalize against Huskies QB Josh Holst, who has thrown 2 INTs against 1 TD on the season. Huskies coach Hammock has some NFL coaching experience as well, Lewis, with the Baltimore Ravens running backs. And he's also a smart coach, achieving 2-time academic All-American status during his playing days. So figure Hammock is well aware of the challenge his guys face and will have a game plan in place and his guys focused for those crucial 6 seconds at a time.
Steve, the Aztecs defense came up big time after time Saturday night against Cal, keeping the Golden Bears under 300 yards of total offense. And one of the players behind that great defensive effort was honored with the Mountain West Defensive Player of the Week award. Dalesean Staley was all over the field, notching 7 tackles, all solo, forcing his first career fumble, logging his first interception as an Aztec, and even breaking up a pass. But Staley realizes it was a full team effort and was quick to credit his teammates for that award.
My defense, they did their thing up front, linebackers to the back end, Chris Johnson, Dwayne McDougal. You got Eric Butler covering, running field to field. And, you got the DNs doing their thing. You got Trey White, everybody up front doing their thing. So it was just all a collective good effort, and anybody could have won that award. So I'm just blessed.
That fumble, by the way, was recovered by Dwayne McDougal and returned 35 yards for a touchdown. During this week's media availability, Staley talked about how he was able to knock the ball out and how turnovers are emphasized during practice, with the defensive players trying to outdo each other in coming up with the ball.
So from that play, I know I'm in the fit. I got the corner outside of me, and I know how the blocking scheme's going to go. I know I'm the safety, so O-line's not going to put me in the count for real. So, in film, I know when they get in that formation, they love to go to that gap right there. They love that 1v1 fit. And, once I seen the gap, translated it onto the field, hit it, just basic tackle, wrap up, bring your arms around, and, see what happens. 4 turnovers a day, that's the minimum, try to get it up to even more if we want to. And turnovers are contagious. You get turnovers, everybody wants to get a turnover. So we're trying to get your hand on the ball and trying to get that. So once we got that first one, it was like, all right, let's start generating more. We got to start getting our hands on the ball. Dwayne had many missed opportunities that should have been catches, but and that was contagious because everybody's like, oh, we could get to the ball. So yeah, it's just all contagious,
On the offensive side, Jayden Denegal had a very efficient game for the Aztecs, completing 15 of 18 passes for 189 yards and a touchdown. That was a 6-yard shuffle pass to Jordan Napier shortly after he hooked up with Napier for an 80-yard pass that got the Aztecs down to the 10-yard line. I asked Denegal about his chemistry with Napier and whether or not he thought Denegal was going to score on that long pass play.
I think me and Jordan's connection has been good ever since we got here. Was my host on my official visit when I was coming out of the portal. So that relationship with him and continuing with all the receivers, Bostic, Donovan, Mikey, Ace, Jerry, all my receivers, we have a great relationship. So continue to try to spread the love around. And
Pass where he almost scored. Did you think he was in the end zone, or were you thinking once he had the ball at the 50 and he was off to the races?
yeah, I thought he was going to score, and I thought he got into the end zone until the ref marked him short. So.
After the game Saturday, Coach Sean Lewis talked about how his game plan involved shorter throws for Denegal to help improve his efficiency, and it worked. But Lewis also says he hopes to spread it out a little more in the coming weeks. Denegal is excited to get back on the field this weekend against Northern Illinois and says his performance against Cal will help him in preparing for the Huskies, especially when it comes to the red zone.
I think there's some tough big boys. They're going to come ready to play, just like any other team, and we got to travel all the way to Illinois. So I think they'll be ready to play, and we just got to go focus on ourselves and to play our game. It helps tremendously. I mean, the defense played tremendous on Saturday. Everybody knows that, with the ability to take the ball away and to give us short fields. I think that was amazing, and they show it in practice, and I know what they're capable of, and the offense just continue to dive into the specifics of the game plan every week and continue to attack every week so we can be more explosive week to week and continue to do that. Well, as an offense, we have goals for the entire game, and just when we get in the red zone, we know we need to hyper focus and we need to get the ball into the paint, whether it's kicking a field goal or eventually. I mean, we want to score touchdowns, so scoring touchdowns is always a primary in our eyes, but always getting points and no turnovers in the red zone has been a big emphasis by our coaches, and just continue to preach that in practice and prepare the right way.
Steve, for the first time in a long time, Snapdragon Stadium had an electric feel inside. More than 31,000 tickets were distributed, and according to the UT's Kirk Kenney, there were a little more than 21,000 inside the stadium. But they were loud, and both Denegal and Staley say it had a major effect on how the team performed on the field.
It felt great to have the fans out there in a nice, loud atmosphere, and I think every week fans should come out and we should have a good time. And it was an amazing time in Snapdragon on Saturday.
Yeah, it can for sure generate energy when you got the crowd rocking on the third down, guy going loud to where offense don't know what to hear, with defense don't know what to hear. So you just got to lock in, understand, and get the play call and get to playing. So like I said last time, I love the big crowds and helps us generate energy for both sides of the ball. You got to feed off the energy that's off the field. I feed off my man's energy, like my players' energy. I just do that, just like get the crowd just excited toward the game. But I really get the energy on the field from my players, from the DNs. When Jared Beatty's going back there, running back to the quarterback, or Eric's retracing to go get the quarterback, that's where I feed my energy off of. It's just a little help for the crowd to get hyped up.
Steve Denegal says preparation is key to another successful game Saturday. In preparing for Cal, he says the team was comfortable with the game plan, everybody knew what they were supposed to do, and were ready for whatever answers Cal gave them on the field. Sounds like the perfect plan for this week as well.
Okay, this is a note from Sports Illustrated. It's the first game in a home-and-home series now, and the Huskies are going to return the favor in San Diego in the year 2031. Also, interesting matchup between current and future members of the Mountain West, because NIU is joining up in the Mountain West next year.
Thanks, Stephen. Of course, this is the second straight year that the Aztecs are facing a team from the MAC. You may recall they lost last year at Central Michigan 22-21 after missing a few field goals.
We will speak to you again after the Aztecs take on the Huskies of Northern Illinois University in DeKalb, and hopefully we can get it on that Disney app. And what's the lead-in before that? The Little Princess? The Little Mermaid? Anyways, we'll talk to you soon. Bye now.